Hello everyone, welcome back to another Age of Empires 4 commentary. I am Beyond, and today we have a special guest joining us for our co-cast, Farmman Official. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Well, you may have seen me on YouTube. I am a YouTuber and content creator and caster, all of the three, for Age of Empires 4. So super excited to be here. We've been kind of working to try and get a casted game together, but it's been tricky scheduling. We've finally got it done, and super excited for this match.
Yeah, this should be a really good one. Both civs are pretty aggressive, so I'll get into the introductions. We have MYI Zerton in the yellow, playing as the Rus with the golden boat in the middle. And then across the way, we have LaSh as the Ottomans in the green. Now, of course, LaSh and Zerton are both streamers and YouTubers, so I will leave their links in the description below so you can check them out. LaSh is a German English streamer, super chill, and Zerton streams a decent amount. I don't see him on a ton, but LaSh is very consistent about daily.
Yeah, I think these two civilizations as well. It's an interesting matchup, both aggressive civilizations, and I think it's going to be fun to watch with the Rus being so strong at the moment. But the Ottomans, they're known for their feudal age aggression. Getting free military units, they're going to have that tempo aggression. They might want to try and pack a punch for the Rus, and we'll have to see what the Rus do. They're very flexible. They could go 1 TC with a feudal age aggression to try and match the Ottomans, potentially. Maybe go for 2 TCs, play a bit more greedy, and try and soak up that pressure from the Ottomans. It's Hill and Dale. Anything can happen. We'll have to see and watch and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see early on that LaSh has not opted to go for that early military school. That stone is fully intact, so not going for anything too aggressive with any. It doesn't look like it has the start of a feudal age all in. I mean, if he starts to pump units quite quickly, then there's a chance. And of course, the Rus kind of go. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Zerton goes to that classic 2TC Rus build that kind of has the front line of those early knights and then a back line of those Rus archers.
I think actually it's kind of interesting. I don't think I've seen this matchup all that often, but just hear me out. Just hear me out. So there was once upon a time where the Rus would go pretty fast castle. Like they don't do that much anymore. In fact, I haven't seen it the last time they do it. But just hear me out. Like the Rus could potentially go for a fast castle into that landmark that gets the warrior monks, and the Ottomans could do the similar sort of thing. Like they get the imams with the vizier points. Could they contest the relics? I mean, it could be a big debate. But I think generally with the Rus, the economy so strong with 2 TCs, it feels like they kind of should go for that.
I totally agree. I mean, there is a chance the Abbey of the Trinity is not the worst thing to go for. The only issue with the Abbey of the Trinity is if you do not get 3 relics, it is really tough. It's tough sledding for sure. Where are these lads going? Over, okay. Dropping the Kremlin in a very beautiful spot, securing that stone and those berries. I mean, the Kremlin is just too good to pass up. The last LaSh game that I casted, he actually went for the trade house, which was, the gatehouse, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it's also like the Kremlin is just so good right now with all those Kremlins popping out. You can essentially just spawn an instant army whenever you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think the Kremlin, especially against civilizations that have that tempo aggression, that rely on the tempo aggression, whether it be French or Ottomans against the Rus are so good at soaking up pressure because of the Kremlin and because it's a static defense initially primarily, but also if you run into the spot of bother, you can always get those Kremlin gremlins, as you said.
It's true, and this one's set up in such a nice place. And of course, Hillendale is just more inclined to just kind of more of a turtley-esque style. So I would not be surprised to see us go into Castle Age, if not Imperial, on this map. I mean, it's so easy to wall off right here and right here. You can also set up trade super easily if you do walls across this part of the base as well. It's really open to a lot of different things. Now, of course, both of these, of course, the Ottomans can trade better than a lot of other civilizations, so it is an option. We don't see it very often because I think a lot of Ottoman players are just super aggressive, which kind of makes sense. I mean, they are very good at designing that feudal age aggression, so we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like LaSh is kind of playing it a little bit more relaxed right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned about the aggression for the Ottomans. It could work. It's a really tricky situation with the Rus, with the Kremlin and the Kremlin Grens, the ability to soak up that pressure. With the closed off map that Hillendale can be as well, especially if he walls up, the pressure situation with the Ottomans, it's really hard for them to do damage. But one thing it could give them that map control. And in Hillendale at the moment, you only get that 1 gold spawn, that 1 tile of gold within the hill itself. It's a big change from what it used to be. And so if you get that map control, map presence, it could be a situation where the Rus are pinned in, but then they do get a little bit of gold trickle in from the hunting cabins, which will possibly tide them over to get those units to get a little bit of pressure onto the map.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing, as you mentioned, all the gold spawns besides the first initial one are all outside the map. So it is more advantageous to get that early map control if possible. It looks like we're gonna be seeing a pretty standard 2TC opening for Zerton, as we did just get that same amount from the stone outcropping, and it looks like LaSh is going for more of just military school production with just the 3 on here, not looking for that extra, not looking to get that extra TC as the Ottomans. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if LaSh goes a fast castle and then decides to push out. Because if he can take map control and secure this kind of middle of the map, he can really put himself ahead with a heavy amount of gold, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, at this situation, it's probably the only viable option because if he tries to match 2 TCs, it's just not going to work. I mean, we get a couple of free units, but the economy for the risk will just go a bit crazy. And I think, yeah, the interesting the civilization matchup here is that the risk often, I think in Age of Empires, you have a couple of civilizations that dictate the terms of the engagement. Like for the Rus, like they are the ones that hold the keys. You kind of have to react to what they do because if you don't, they will punish you, and you can't match them like for like. So it's going to be down to LaSh to really scout and find out what's happening, and then kind of adjust accordingly.
It's so true. I like the way you put that. You really do have to kind of adjust to what you're seeing from the Roost, which is definitely a little bit more unique than a lot of the other civs. In terms of that, it looks like the scout will be going down eventually to one slice to another scout over there. But the Roost definitely are very, very comfortable just kind of hanging out. Kind of similar to what I can think of like the French, like they get 2 TCs. They're pretty much just hanging out and chilling. And there's this stable. So now they're going to start to push out to get some map control with those knights. Now, of course, the Pahi are pretty good on the other side. They did get their training time nerfed a few patches ago, so they're not as spooky as they once were. And it looks like also LaSh is going to have to get these deer out of here because he's going to have to create his infrastructure back here with these two military schools. So he's going to have to actually clear out these deer quite quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the fact that they risk get the knights is so strong for the civilization because you get these 2 TCs, you're building up a bit of an economy, but the next thing you want to do is produce units. And what better unit to get with then like essentially one of the strongest units you can get in the feudal age, which is difficult to counter. You can get the spearmen, but you got the mobility. You can, if you're good at micro, you can always keep those knights alive.
That's the thing, as you mentioned, the mobility, and it's so important on a map like this. It looks like we're seeing a hunting cabin going down, so everyone's just taking advantage of all the foodstuffs over here, and we see the early wall off, as we mentioned earlier. It's just so easy to kind of control a fourth of the map with these kind of these walled off segments over here in Hillendale. But it looks like they're going to be Cerdon's going to be playing for that kind of, it looks like late game. He's very, very comfortable to kind of hang out, set up his full economy going, and it looks like LaSh is going to be going. It looks like a faster castle, as we can see, with the transfer of 7 onto gold.
Yeah. I mean, just saw those palisade walls. That's another thing about the Rus. If I'm not wrong, I think they still build faster. I think it's about 3 seconds per tile segment, which is a lot less than other civilizations. If I'm not wrong, I think it's 7 seconds for the other civilizations, and especially because it's got higher HP as well. I, every time I talk about the Rus, I just think to myself, they do everything better. It's kind of crazy right now.
They do. They are in a very, very good spot. And as we mentioned, the fast castle, it looks like LaSh is going to be going up as he's floating the correct amount of resources. So I think we're going to be seeing the armory, I would assume. But that barracks just took the perfect place for it. So maybe we might be seeing a different landmark. No, there it is. It's going to be going down. So we're going to see some early mangonels out on the map for the Ottoman player.
Yeah, and I would be surprised to see the vizier points spent on the imams to get those relics in, because I think it's got to be the priority at this point. You know, when you age up in Age of Empires, you got to make that tech up count for something, whether it be stronger military, maybe man at arms, something that's difficult to counter, or get the eco bonuses, or get those relics. But again, we talk about the knights and how good they will be able to deal with castle age units. So again, when you age up, the Rus are still very good at soaking up pressure from castle age units. So man at arms, the Rus have got the knights. They can still do a good job against them.
And as you mentioned, while yes, the spearmen do counter it, this knight already has 2 villagers to his name. So not only does Zerton have a 2 TC lead, he also has killed off 2 villagers for the price of just half a health on a knight. That's all it cost him. So he's feeling pretty good about that. He might actually lose a knight here, though, which is going to be super unfortunate. No, at the last second, the hero is saved.
Yeah, only 4 HP on that guy. And I mean, there's so much value from that knight. It's incredible.
Oh, that villager's going to get... Oh, it's a little bit of misclick there from Zerton, so it is going to cost him a few more knights, but they're very happy to retreat at this point. And it looks like LaSh actually got a kill over here with the Sipahi, so LaSh actually evening up the scores a little bit, and now we also see a lot on gold for Zerton, so either he's going to be going in for a few more knights, or he's going to be going up to that Castle Age, which it looks like that might be the inclining because of the amount of resources he's floating up top.
Yeah, I think Zerton's a really strong point here because if he gets that Castle Age, he's going to contest the relics. He's not lost a single relic at this point on the map anyway, and I think those knights have really hurt him. Not just the villager kills, but the positioning. LaSh has just not safely been able to get onto the map and to get those relics, which I think is just really what he wants to do.
Yeah, it's so true. And while LaSh does have Castle Age, so he does have these imams kind of coming out. There they are. It looks like there's two of them going out trying to secure them, but as we mentioned, the knights are here kind of waiting. Yes, there's a few spearmen and Sipahi, but and it's unfortunate too that these relics happen just to be in a slightly better position for Zerton than they are LaSh, as they're kind of edging on his side of the field.
Yeah, I would love to see those knights just camp out on those relics and try and snap those imams if you can. But LaSh has kind of given the story away. He's activated that sacred site, so Zerton's going to know where he is on the map, and he's probably going to be looking to secure those relics. Although this imam might just get this one.
Yeah, but it looks like this one's going to be safe. We can assume that this one will be safe eventually. But we have more knights going in, and it looks like they're going to be getting... Oh, it's a misclick there. So it actually might save his villager from a demise. Let's see if he gets any of them. I think that one's going to go down. But there's a crossbowman here now. Ooh.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
oh, the body blocking, he saved it. Wait, has he? Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he saved it. Which is always nice, but he did lose it on this send over here. As you can see, one more did go down. Alive. But this little guy, count your lucky stars, get a few lucky dice, anything you can, because that one it's destined to live another day, which is always nice.
Yeah, these small wins, these small little advantages could make a big difference. Although he's got the sacred site, and if he can get that relic in nicely as well, maybe LaSh's Castle Age isn't too bad. But that villager lead is starting to get a bit scary.
Yeah, and interesting enough, instead of plucking the relics, LaSh is going for the sacred site confirms quite quickly, which is, I mean, I guess you do get a little bit of extra cash from the sacred site confirmations, and now he's also getting the relics, so just, I guess, double dipping. He's confident enough that he can just get everything that he really wants, and if LaSh can get at least 3, let's see, what did it... I will say Zerton did go high trade house, so it's not the end of the world. Or actually, is this Abbey?
Oh, that's the monastery. Yeah,
that's the monastery. Where's the... There it is. So he did go high trade house, so it's not the Abbey of Trinity, so it's not the end of the world if he doesn't get the relics. But 2 relics are already on the way home for LaSh, and if he can get 1 more, he will secure the relic lead for sure, but that imam is going down for sure.
Yeah, another thing, the high trade house is getting the gold, so it's almost capturing, basically like getting 2 relics already.
That is true, because it's what? How much per relic?
I think it's 80 gold per relic now.
That's what I was thinking.
It used to be 100, but I think it's gone down a bit.
Well, we can wait and see when this thing puts it away. We can see how much LaSh gets in once it goes. Where's the home base for it?
I'm not sure
he doesn't have one. Yeah, he hasn't built one. He just got them out of the vizier point, but didn't actually. So he's going to drop it out front, and that'll be a-okay. But these knights have full control over this side of the map. They're wreaking havoc. While the Sipahi are out and LaSh's army is a bit more scary, Zerton just has full control of the map right now.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, LaSh has got a lot of gold. He's been saving up. He's gold hungry today.
He does.
Getting those upgrades, I guess.
I mean, maybe he's just investing a heavy amount into crossbowmen. I don't know. He also gets... I mean, you're right. He is just stashing away for a later day. I don't think he's going to be going Imperial Age anytime soon, but maybe just hanging out. I will say that the Sacred Site, keeping it this long, is surprising how long he's kept it. So he's doing a good job there. It looks like Zerton's going to be moving out with a keep to try to secure some additional gold resources. But I think he's also probably pretty set on gold too. As you can see, Zerton's also floating 1,300 gold. Both of them are over 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, that gold positioning and that keep is looking so good, because like that's going to save a lot of gold. And of course, Zerton's on a very heavy gold composition. He's going for knights, he's going for crossbows, that typical Rus composition that's so hard to deal with. Like, if you're LaSh, how do you stop that? Maybe going full crossbows, potentially crossbows and mangonels, it could be an issue, but it's just the knights can be so tanky, and with good micro, they can deal a lot of damage.
It's so true. This warrior monk's trying to get a little bit of damage done going on. He actually might take out a villager. Does stab one down, so very impressive. The religious unit decides, you know what, I'm gonna choose violence today, which I guess is acceptable.
Yeah.
It's acceptable if you're a warrior monk, but it looks like this keep's gonna be going down, which is gonna secure Zerton about 3 gold patches, pretty much, which is super nice.
I mean, to be fair, the warrior monk has got it in the name. I wonder how that came about. I might have to do some research into this, actually. I don't know much about the Rus civilization or the warrior monk itself, but 3 sacred sites for the Ottomans, that's actually pretty surprising. He's been able to get away with that.
I totally agree. And also, if he pulls off this wall, while Zerton did move out and get this secure, this wall is actually going to cut off Zerton from like this part of his base unless he goes all the way around, which is actually kind of a cheeky play here for LaSh. We can see one knight is trying to do its best to de-secure the sacred site, but there's a lot of Sipahi out in the map, and now we also have Janissaries coming in as well.
Yeah, I think actually I forgot about Janissaries. They could be pretty good. Although the crossbows will do a lot of damage to them, but it's a really nice unit actually for the Ottomans to deal with these knights.
All right, that warrior monk needs to turn around. It can't take on an actual army, but I will say did a surprising amount of damage with a warrior monk that I don't think I've actually ever seen a warrior monk use in an offensive manner. But I'm happy I got to see it here. But LaSh is a very spooky army in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I have to say something I think LaSh has done fantastically well, which I didn't really anticipate, is he's using his units incredibly well. He's got a lot of them are free, and I think he's actually taking advantage of that bonus the Ottomans get to a really nice position. He's got a lot of map control. It looks like he's going to go for a sacred site victory. 8.5 minutes on the clock. He might be, well, it looks like he's clocking up some stone to get a keep, although actually I think he doesn't have any more villages on stone, but he's got 300 in the bank, so possibly could be thinking about getting some keeps. We'll have to see how he does this, but it does look like he's pretty it looks like he's pretty set on that sacred site victory potentially here.
Yeah, I really do like this out of LaSh. I think he can almost sense that Zerton is just ready to just like go late game. As you can see, Zerton's floating just enough, almost enough for Imperial Age, so LaSh might make the right call here. And while Zerton feels like in a good spot, LaSh is completely walled off this side of the map. This keep can be offensive, it's really mainly defensive, and if LaSh can get a few keeps and towers out and around these places, and knowing that the Ottomans have a lot of siege, I will say Zerton does have a lot of springholds, so he should be in an okay spot, especially if they go up to Imperial. Those Rus springholds are absolutely nuts, but I don't know how Zerton's going to break out of here unless he can really get these crossbowmen in a very good position, because this composition really does very well against crossbowmen.
Yeah, I think the one thing that LaSh has got to do, though, is got to build those static defenses, because he is, whilst he's got the timer on, Zerton will be thinking about going to that Imperial Age. And if he can get that Boyar's Fortitude, if he can get super tanky knights, elite knights, that, to be honest, even crossbows, I think Zerton will just steamroll.
Yeah, absolutely. And these knights are some beefy units, but if LaSh can get these down, it looks like he didn't actually go all the way up just yet. He did spend a little bit more, but LaSh is just continue massing. This warrior monk is not going to get away against these Sipahi. They're going to chase him down for sure, but Zerton with a cheeky play to get this relic over here, which I didn't actually expect him to get, and now is actually hiding in the stealth forest.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart. He's definitely done that on purpose. That's the thing. That's the genius behind this.
And there's the thumbnail. You'll never find me. Right there. There she is. It's a perfect thing. Oh, now it's going to be done and dusted. So we'll move on from this long-winded chase. But LaSh is setting up camp, and he's using the stone to fortify his outposts over here, it looks like. And he's going to start throwing down more and more. And Zerton's going to have to do something about it. It's 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this could come down to a photo finished. Taking a look at the military numbers, I am a bit conscious that military number for Zerton is slowly increasing, and it's a little bit worrying. Although it looks like he's spent all his food, and he hasn't clicked up to the next stage.
I was just gonna say, it looks like it almost looks like he got very nervous with his sacred site victory and decided to spend all of his food on 16 horsemen to try to decap one of these sacred sites. And it also looks like he put a cheeky keep down below, securing even more stone for himself.
How did he get those villages there? That's what I want to know. That's crazy. must have snuck around somewhere.
It
All I
must-
know is that
Oh, right
with
there.
Zerton,
He made a little
oh,
hole
he
over
broke
here.
through. Yeah.
And now
I guess
now
he
he's
probably felt
rewalling.
6 minutes is too long. I think he probably felt like 6 minutes is not long enough to get to that Imperial Age and get those premium units out. He wants to put on some pressure earlier.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to make sure that he could get some map control. He has secured pretty much all the stone on the map besides these 2 clusters in the middle, which LaSh can have. But did manage to get one over here, and is now obviously getting this one over here. But so, I mean, he can also start to keep drop, but LaSh smartly puts a stone wall in between him and his base. So unless there's a ram popping out as well, which I'm sure we'll see a few of, he should be in a pretty good position.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily we'll get there, but that keep is in a fantastic position. Not only does it secure that stone, it just denies any possibility of effective trade.
Oh no, he might lose a few springholds here though, which is gonna be
that's a bit
super
rough.
super bad. Gonna have to drop back now though, because that's a lot of crossbowmen.
Yeah, 5 minutes still on the timer. I mean, like that timer has been ticking for a while. It felt like it's been ticking very slowly, but slowly but surely, that could be going down pretty fast.
It looks
And
like
it could be
LaSh
going
is
down to
smartly
zero.
trying to defend these mangonels and gets a really good shot on all those villagers making this tower over here. Another shot is
Yeah, a
going
lot of
in
crossbows.
from over here, and the Janissaries are doing pretty good work. It's a decent composition, but it does look like Zerton might have the enough to kind of deal with this, especially with this many springholds.
Yeah, I mean, the only concern, though, is that the cavalry is going down for Zerton because of those Janissaries, and that does leave them exposed. The Springles are enough to take down that Mangonel, but the Springles do need to back off. The Sipahi are going to jump on those crossbows.
Yeah, the Sipahi are proving just too good compared to these horsemen, and there's a lot of Jans in here. But I think we have 34 Janissaries in the map, so even though the numbers did look a little bit in the favor of Zerton, also that meta never went down that whole time.
Oh, yeah.
The
That's
MVP
pretty
over
impressive
here.
to keep that alive, for sure. Makes a big difference, that guy.
It's very true. If you're in the lower ranks, like myself, that is #1 priority against an Ottoman civilization. If you're facing them, definitely make sure you try to snipe that early on. Zerton's going just like he's floating so many resources right now, even 2,600 stone.
Yeah, that fight, though, was absolutely huge. I think that could be a deciding factor in this game, because look at the military numbers, 37 for Zerton, only 37, and he got 76 for LaSh. That is such an overwhelming lead, and at this point, with only 3.5 minutes left, the number of villages you have is almost irrelevant. As long as you can keep the standing army alive for the next 3 minutes, LaSh should be in a really strong point.
Absolutely, and I don't think I've seen a Sacred Site victory in quite some time in a 1v1 game, and I actually just casted one that had a wonder drop as well, so if that actually does happen, that's definitely something unique that I haven't seen in quite some time at this level. Usually they either make a big fight and then GG too quickly, or they usually don't let this much map control happen for one person.
Yeah, I do wonder. He's got enough stone for a keep. I mean, he could just take those villages there and build one sneakily on the east side, sacred side. I don't know if he would even do that, or if there's army there protecting it. But it could be an option. All I do know is he's going to the Imperial Age.
I was gonna say, where is it?
I mean, it's a very awkward timing. There's only 2.5 minutes left on that sacred site. He needs to put some pressure. Only 37 military. I'm not sure how he's going to decap that sacred site. I think the tech up is too late.
Yeah, this is coming in very, very late. He does have a nice army, but I don't know if he can counter LaSh's army. LaSh still has mangonels being produced for free. A lot of Sipahi are out in the map, and also has 37 Janissaries.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, when you tech up to the next stage, you age up, it's got to give you something, right? You've got to do something with it. And the trouble is, he doesn't have the time to do... Oh, he's doing it! He's getting those villages, putting it on the sacred site, just as I thought he might do it. And this could be his way back into the game. If he decaps his sacred site, then going to the Imperial Age is a masterstroke. He's got the economy, he'll have the tech up, he will have the tech advantage, and he'll be able to pump out units. He just needs to decap that sacred site.
Yep, it looks like the Sipahi thwarted the attack over here, but this one's going to go up. I mean, this tower is absolutely cooking over here. It's a barbecue on these villagers, but there should be enough. And I was going to say, these spearmen kind of not helping the cause at all. Here comes the villagers as well. And
yeah, it's too late for LaSh. That keep will go up. The question is, will he get the military there to try and save that sacred site? He needs to get on the sacred site first. Don't know if he did.
Oh no, he did not, but it does look like there's a lot, but the Sipahi are now in on the crossbowmen. So it looks like Zerton, this is his chance, but his back line has no front line.
Yeah, he got surrounded, and he might flatline at this point. But those
Oh
Janissaries going to
no.
fire off on those crossbows. The crossbows aren't going to be able to hold this, I don't think. I think there's enough Janissaries there to take care of it and just keep hold of that sacred site, and that timer will start ticking down again very, very soon.
And there's Sapahi everywhere. I mean, this is an absolutely incredible play, and this keep, it won't go down very quickly. I'm assuming Boilerno's coming in, even though it got nerfed to smithereens last patch, but this is looking brutal, and LaSh is playing this so well.
Yeah, incredibly exciting game. I wouldn't have anticipated this as an outcome. We talked about the strategies, things that could happen, and not once did it cross my mind that it could come down to a sacred site victory. What a fantastic game. Hopefully, I mean, it could continue. There's still 1 minute left. We'll have to see what happens.
Can the Gremlins, oh, there's the whole squad. Here they come.
They're all coming for the central sacred site. There's no keep there. That's a problem.
There is not. It looks like LaSh is going to be moving out for his army over here and just keeping a few over here because there's only some villagers. But now the Gremlins are in place. It is ticking down quite quickly. I like this positioning too. The Ram can sit on that sacred site forever. But these Sapahi are playing Ring Around the Rosie right now and just trying to touch the base for the rest of this army to get into place. That's a lot of mangonels though.
Yeah, I'm worried about those mangonels because if he protects those mangonels, there's no way that LaSh keeps it. The mangonels, oh, he's going to get a good shot on. He's got to get a couple of good shots off the Janissaries. There's no way they're going to stay alive on that sacred site.
Oh my god. It's an absolute barbecue up top. This
He's bringing villagers.
He's pulling the whole squad. Everyone's coming here for this fight. It looks like the mangonels for Zircon are still over, and the villagers are getting involved as well, but the Janissaries are holding strong.
Yeah, the Janissaries are in good numbers, but a couple more mangonel shots should take them out. A lot of them do go down. The horsemen are diving on them, and yeah, that's just too much there. I think, oh, this is looking bad for LaSh.
Now, what does LaSh have in store? He's pulling villagers too. It's 30 seconds
left. Coming down to this. There's no way the game goes longer than this. This is it. This is the finish line. He does bring the villagers on, but he's only going to be able to stop the timer going down. He's not going to be able to keep hold of it.
And there's nothing else over here, nothing else over here. Good, okay. It's just this down to this.
He doesn't need to. He's just got to get villagers on it. That's what he's got to do.
16 seconds. More Sapahi are in tow. The villagers are playing Ring Around the Rosie at this point. The Springholds are trying to take out as much as they possibly can.
Down to 5 seconds.
5, 4, 3.
It's not going to be enough. I think certain.
1.
No, wait. He's done it. He's done it with the last second of the game. And wow, the Ottomans managed to get that sacred site victory. What a fantastic play by LaSh. Wasn't expecting that at all.
That was absolutely electric. Thank you so much for joining me for that wonderful game. I honestly didn't expect it to be that amazing. I promise I just picked this out like 5 minutes before we started, but I couldn't be happier with what happened.
Hey, look, if this is the first casted game that we did together, hopefully we can have many more games like that. That's what I want to see.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. So if everyone will leave Farman's links in the description below, go check him out, go subscribe, go watch his videos. And if you enjoyed this channel, please do leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to see more content between the two of us, leave a like and drop some comments in the comments below so we know that we can keep making these kind of videos happen.